I'm now going to put the spotlight on Raquel Spring. And she's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. She is a very wise woman who is very dedicated to an awakening world, to raising consciousness. And to introduce her, for those of you who don't know her, I just want to read briefly what she starts her own webpage with, because this really sums up Raquel. She says, "My mission is to help you activate your truth and embody your purpose, whether through astrology, retreats, workshops, private sessions, lectures, presentations. Raquel's passion is to help us all understand our soul's essence and to anchor our purpose in this new age of spiritual consciousness and authentic expression. And she is here to inspire us to tap into our own core truth with clarity and confidence, and to help us align with our highest potential for growth, evolution, and freedom." That's Raquel, and how blessed we are to have you with us tonight. Welcome, Raquel.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Wonderful. Thank you. And a warm welcome to the whole tribe. There are so many people here present. And I love just seeing everybody here in the chat and dancing to the music and just feeling this time together that we have to celebrate this moment.
No,
And I
thank you.
also want to, I also want to welcome everybody that I can't see right now, but that is also watching, and everyone from around the world. We have such a beautiful community here.
Yeah,
Beautiful job, Scott.
oh well, it's a beautiful thing. And Zoom room, we've got Dorina from Ecuador, we've got people up in Canada. And of course, the majority of people are watching on our broadcast partners. So a big welcome to everybody watching on Facebook, on the Conscious Awakening Network, on Steve Farrell's Humanity Rising. Welcome to everybody watching. And Raquel, I'm going to go right into it. Tell us about the portal we're in right now. I've heard some people say it's the equinox or the eclipse wormhole. Some people are calling it the Easter to eclipse time. You're the expert. Tell us about what's going on for us astrologically right now.
Yes, thank you. So I feel like I'm so full of the subject. There's so much happening and so much to share, but I will bring this to the heart and the essence of what is happening and what this means. So I want to invite all of you to relax into this moment. And as you relax, you can feel your heart expanding to receive, just naturally relaxing into this space and opening your heart to receive this truth. Now, this is information about the upcoming solar eclipse that we have on April 8th. This is a solar eclipse that we are having. And I'm guessing most of you, if not all of you, are aware of this. So astrology is my expertise, and I'm going to speak about this eclipse from an astrological perspective to help to shine some wisdom and some truth to the events in your life. Now, we have several eclipses every year, so it's not an uncommon thing to experience. But there is something to be said about eclipse season. What is eclipse season? They happen in pairs, right? So usually we have one eclipse. For example, the last one happened on a full moon. And then in 2 weeks later, we have the next one. So the next one in this case is the new moon. So we have a full moon. 2 weeks later, we have a new moon. And this creates the season of the eclipses. We'll have another one, another eclipse season at the end of the year. And this is common. We have 2 eclipse seasons a year. But this is the first eclipse season that we're having. So it started with a March 25th lunar eclipse. And now we are closing the other part of the eclipse season with the solar eclipse, which happens on a new moon. So the eclipse season in general is a very heightened time. it's very common for there to be a lot of energies that are activated during that time. So events around eclipses, they get more heightened, they get more intense, they get more extreme. So if you take a look around you in your life, you may notice that the energies have been escalating, and it's very normal to have very strong energies at around the time of eclipses. Now, much can be said about the times we're in and about the eclipses, but I want to focus on the main message of this particular solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse that we're having is in the sign of Aries. So I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. There might be some of you here listening to this that have an Aries sun, or maybe you have an Aries moon or an Aries ascendant. Aries is the sign of this eclipse. But even if you don't have an Aries sun or an Aries moon or an Aries ascendant, we all have the sign of Aries in our chart. Even if there is no planet in the sign of Aries, we still have the influence of Aries in our chart, in our life. And this is how, when these astrological energies are activated, we all feel it. We're all receiving this solar eclipse in Aries. So it's important to notice that the sign of Aries corresponds with new beginnings. The sign of Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac. In astrology, it's where it all begins. The sign of Aries is known for being the beginning of new life. It's a birthing point for creation, for life to exist. So I want to start with that and just be with that for a moment. Because there's something to be said about this stage that we're in right now. And this stage began at the spring equinox. So it was just a couple of weeks ago where we had this important threshold. What is this threshold? This threshold that we're in now and this eclipse is activating is the beginning of the next phase. So we've been, these last 3 to 4 years, we've been in a very crucial phase of endings. There's been a big halt to our reality, to many things in our life, many events, many relationships, many dynamics in our life has been stopped in its tracks, and a lot of it has dissolved. Now, astrologically, this has been exactly on time with the schedule. And this threshold right now is so pivotal because it marks the turning point. This is where we're now going to start to look into the next stage of what this transition is all about. Now, we don't go from A to Z. There are steps and there are stages, but this marks the beginning of the next stage. So from here on out, and for the next 3 to even 4 years, we're going to see the second stage where everything starts to shift very fast. In the first stage, we were just stopped in our tracks. And a lot of things were coming undone. But on this stage, we're now finally ready to start to get the first few glimpses of what lies ahead. So this second stage is a massive turning point, massive turning point. And this is what this eclipse is representing. It's representing that new beginning to the second stage of this transition. So you can feel into that for a moment, because this is going to correspond with many new events. And a big part of these new events has to do with a new reality that you are going to start to call in next. We're all doing this collectively. And in this second stage is the stage of the shifting of massive systems that have been in place for even thousands of years. Certain aspects of our society, aspects of reality that we're now ready to bring in a new dynamic. And this includes, because I know a lot of people here are very interested in this, but this also includes connecting with outer space, with aliens, with life beyond this planet. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There are many exciting things that are coming in as a part of our new reality. By the end of this decade, we're going to be much more aware of what these new dynamics are going to be. But it is beginning now. And this is the exciting thing. Now, in order for us to reach into this new beginning, we have to go through a very important phase of what this eclipse is all about and what this eclipse is referring to as well. This particular eclipse in Aries. Aries represents fire. And a very important part of what's happening with us now is the aspect of purification of our visions. Aries is also about visions. Aries is the ultimate visionary and leader. And there is something happening right now with the purification of our visions. Because from here forward, we're stepping into a new dynamic, a new reality. And so many things that belong to the first phase and beyond are now being laid to rest. And we're getting ready for a new dynamic, a new reality. So our vision is being purified. And in many ways, tested as well. And not necessarily tested in the sense of, are we going to pass the test, yes or no? It's more of a test in the sense of, is this going with you moving forward? Does this belong with you in the new phase? Are you still feeling that the same way you were feeling it before? Or maybe are you being called into a new dynamic, a different dynamic? So the fire of purification is one thing that is very prevalent right now with this eclipse. There is another aspect of the fire, and especially the fire of Aries, which has to do with action, taking action. Aries is all about taking action. As a matter of fact, Aries is known for being all about action. There's a little joke about Aries that Aries don't think. They don't think, they act, and then they think about it. They act first, and then they think about it. One of the shadow sides of Aries is it can be impulsive because it's all about action. So this is also a time where many of us are being called to take action. And I want you to feel into this because up until now, it hasn't really been a moment of action. It's actually been more a moment of wait and let things go. But from this point forward, there is a dynamic of taking action. You don't need to take full action and have the full mission completed, but there are steps that we are being called to take action on. Maybe it's a move, a relocation, a new study, a new hobby, a new lifestyle, a new diet, a new relationship. There are new things that are calling to us with this energy of new beginning and action. Now, it's important to note that this eclipse is happening conjunct Chiron. Conjunct means that it is very, very close. It's like the solar eclipse is, imagine that the eclipse has a flashlight and there's a lot of different things to shine its light on. Well, the closest thing to this new moon solar eclipse's proximity is Chiron. And this is very important to take into consideration because in astrology, Chiron is known for bringing the wound and the medicine. He is known for being the great healer and also the wounded healer. How many of you can identify with healing paths that you've embarked on due to your own need for healing? I was just speaking to someone the other day that has a whole company nowadays, a whole health company for families. And he started that company because 20 years ago, he had cancer. And so he committed himself to, when he was able to heal himself, he committed himself to helping other people find healing. And this is why Chiron is known for being the wounded healer. He is also known for being a master healer and a master teacher. But he does have his side of wounds. And it does speak about our own wounds and vulnerabilities that are surfacing during this time. So it's very important to acknowledge this because this is the closest thing in proximity of this solar eclipse in Aries is Chiron. And this solar eclipse is highlighting big time this aspect of our wounds that are ready to be healed. Now, before we go out there and we try to heal others, we have to really pay attention because with this eclipse, there is no denying. We're not going to be able to hide the things that are wounding us. And in light of that, I want to invite you right now to really feel into the aspects of your life right now in the last few days, in the last few weeks, and even in the last month that has been progressively getting stronger and stronger and louder, saying, pay attention to me. Hey, I'm here. I'm here. And a practice that I want to guide you through and invite you to practice with me is very simple. There are so many events happening right now where people's emotions are so escalated. Aries is the sign of the warrior. Okay, so I know, I'm very aware, this is one of the shadows of Aries, is that people are very triggered. In general, especially people that don't understand what's happening and that are just kind of on automatic and reacting to the energies, there's a lot of wounds that are coming out. There's a lot of people feeling triggered. And if one person's triggered and says something in one way to another, and then triggers the other, and there goes the domino effect. So we want to be very mindful because this is one of the shadows of Aries, is to fight, to put on that warrior. And you see people out there that are triggered and wanting to fight and wanting to argue, and that whole combat energy you want to be mindful of. So, if you scan through your last few days, your last few weeks, or even maybe today, and notice the people and the things that have triggered you recently. And here's the practice. You can do this both with the events that have passed and also as the events come into your life. As they're happening, they're real time and you're getting triggered in the moment. Here's what I want you to do. Go inside and ask yourself, what is this bringing from inside of me? What emotion, what feeling, what thought, what belief is this bringing from me? And so this is going to require maturity because you're not going to stick to the event. This is not about the story. This is not about the person raising their voice or so-and-so forgot to wash his dishes. It's not about that. You're going to go to, okay, beyond the story, how is that making you feel? And you can start with that. How is that situation making you feel? And once you really sit with that, you can then ask yourself, well, what is my belief around that? Because there is some importance there for you. So what is your belief around that? And when you ask yourself those questions, you can really start to get to the bottom of that wound. That ultimately these wounds are surfacing in your life or resurfacing in your life because they want to be heard. They want to be seen. They need to be shifted. And you know, many times, most of the times, just our awareness of it and being like, oh, that's what it is. Instead of thinking, oh, because someone raised their voice at me, you go to the bottom of it. And you say, well, how is that making me feel? What is my belief around that? And just by shining the flashlight on the root cause of it is already liberating you to experience your healing. So this is what I want to share with you right now. And I want to offer this advice, this practice that you can do. Because with the eclipse on Chiron, this is a time for us to really notice everything that we feel vulnerable, tender, insecure, and wounded about. So that we can then go through the process of purification of our vision, strengthening ourselves, strengthening our visions as we prepare to move into a new beginning. We don't want those beliefs from the past to come with us to the new threshold. We don't want that. So the eclipse is all about shining a light, a big, big, big light on what may be holding you back, what may be stopping you from moving forward. And that's why the energies of the eclipse are so strong right now, pointing to Chiron. We need to face our wounds. We need to face our own fears, face all the things that have been holding us back, including within society, which is also going to happen. You may notice that our collective wounds may be more visible, may be more noticeable during this time. But this is exactly so we can shine a light and see what before may have been hidden. There is no more hiding now. The veils are only going to fall more and more and more as the months go on. And this whole next year until the next spring equinox, there's going to be a lot of veils falling. So we need to start with an honest look at ourselves. And not in a right or wrong way, but just a real honest conversation to see who is really underneath the events that are happening in your life. Who is that wounded child that has been carrying that belief for so long? Because you're ready to liberate that now and you're ready to let that child free. So you can move into your new beginning with confidence and with freedom. That is the gift in Aries, is confidence, power, and freedom. So this is also what the new moon eclipse is speaking about. It's speaking about that confidence, that bravery, this initiative to look into the future and follow your vision, follow your purpose. So you can only do that when you sit with that tender child that is calling to you right now. So I invite you to take a breath now. All the way through, all the way through. And then whenever you're ready to relax, all the way through, back down. And allow all this information that I just shared with you to sweep through your body, up, down, all the way through. If you find any blockages in your body, any points that may be holding pressure, just continue to breathe all the way through. Breathe the love. Breathe your vision for the future. Breathe healing for yourself and for the world. And all you have to do is breathe all the way through, all the way up, and then all the way down. And you keep doing this, and you'll see that your body will start to relax and open more and more and more. And this can really help you when you're going through those moments of anguish or anxiety or intensity. And as you evaluate and ask yourself these questions about your beliefs, about how you feel, just keep breathing all the way through. All the way through. This is about your freedom. This is about your freedom. So I want to celebrate this solar eclipse in Aries with you and celebrate your freedom.
Beautiful, Raquel. Thank you so much. There's a lot of comments and questions that have come into the chat box, so we don't have time for much. This is just a homeopathic dose of Raquel. But a few of the comments that came in, Raquel, people are really appreciating how you speak slowly and really much time to bring in the information and to digest it. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
several people commented on that. And then also there was comments about the wounded healer. Sylvia talking about how she was writing about it 10 years before even understanding about the wounded healer. Yeah, so there's that. There was a question that I think I do want to ask you. This came from Dorina down in Ecuador, asking how does astrology, and so we'll say specifically the eclipse, how does that impact children or animals? Does it also impact all beings?
Yes, it does. You know, there's something really beautiful about astrology, and that is that everyone has a chart. And not just everyone, but everything as well. Everything in its phase of birth, that new beginning, that point of entrance has a chart. So animals have a chart, children have a chart. We're all connected with the stars. We're all interconnected. So yes, it definitely, animals and children definitely feel it. You know, there is something to be said about the individual charts. So individual people will feel and experience these energies in slightly different ways, in slightly different areas of their life, depending on how their chart is positioned and receiving those energies. But the overall energy of healing is for everybody. This is Chiron, both the wound and also the healing, that is very active for all charts alike.
And thank you for reminding us and encouraging us to really own what's the challenges that we're facing. What are the things, the wounds that are kind of coming forward?
Yeah.
So that was a really beautiful, which again, many people commented on. Reverend Jeffrey wrote something just now. Raquel has an enlightened flow with wisdom for all humanity. That's
Oh,
a beautiful
I
way.
love you. Thank you.
And Susan Bloomquist agrees with you that naming our issue, naming our vulnerability is the first step and can perhaps even create the healing that we seek. So it is important for us to name it all.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, this is just a homeopathic dose of Raquel. And to get much, much more, and we're going to take a look at some of her offerings, go to her website, and it's easy to remember the name of it. It's her name, raquelspring.com.
I think that's the about me. If you want to go to the home is where, yeah, the home page.
There we are. What's up? Go forward. There you are. No,
raquelspring.com.
there we go. Okay, there
Yes.
we go. Thank you. Know your truth, align your purpose, awaken your path to freedom with Raquel. So we're going to scroll down and learn about some of your offerings. Tell us about the mentorship program.
Well, the mentorship program is where we have a really in-depth ongoing experience together with what the planets and what the astrology is doing every month. So we have 2 live workshops a month. We also have weekly, I call them the audio boosters. So I send weekly updates by audio so you can reflect on the energies of every week. So the live mentorship, the mentorship program is a live ongoing community gathering.
Beautiful.
That's what it is.
So people can come in at any time. It doesn't have a necessary start or end date.
Oh, anytime, anytime. Yes. And
Well, of
that's the
course.
next one.
Yeah, this is where I think a lot of our people are going to want to come on in and learn more. So tell us about this.
That is happening this Saturday. This is part of the mentorship program. So all the people that are part of the mentorship program, they access it for free. But people that are not a part of the mentorship program, they can also access that with a one-time pass. So once a month, I have the big theme of the month. This month is the solar eclipse. As you can see, the title is called Shakeups and Breakthroughs. There is a lot to talk about. This is just a sneak preview today. We're going to go really deep in there into the eclipse energies and what that means for you.
Beautiful. I got to say, that's an amazing photograph. That's a very, very beautiful photograph.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and again, everybody, you go to the website, you can learn about how to join the membership, about the one-time pass. And then you've got your monthly full moon celebrations.
Yes, that's the oh, that's so interesting. The widget didn't upload. It's okay. There's a little clock that has the countdown for until the next full moon. So the there it is. The full moon is a free offering. This happens once a month for all members that want to join, and it happens on the day of the full moon. So we all come together as a community to celebrate the full moon. This is also where we talk about the energies of the month. There's a lot of other events that happen. There's a special guest. There's a raffle that happens with free gifts. There's a lot of exciting and fun things, and that's once a month. It's a free offering for anybody who wants to join. So yeah, those are the 3 main ones that I have going on there on that page.
Well, one other thing though is how to book a session. And so if you scroll down and you click book your session, do you have time? Are you taking clients on at this time?
I am. I probably won't be for much longer, but I am right now. Yes. And so the book your session is where you get your one-on-one experience with me. So everything you just had a little taste of here, we go even deeper with your astrological chart. So you get a complete message of what the energies are speaking about to you. That's where I take you on a personal journey of all the astrological energies and what they mean for you.
Beautiful. And I want to say I've had the good fortune to get personal work with Raquel, and she's amazing. And she doesn't always, because there's other times you've been on the show that you were not available for book sessions. So catch her while she's available, everybody.
And I appreciate you so much, Scott. I appreciate everybody here. There's so many people that I've grown familiar with and just grown to love as my own family because I've been so many times on the show. I've also met a couple people at the Conscious Life Expo from the show. So it's a small world. And I feel so close to all of you. Thank you for welcoming me to this show and listening to this message as well.
Thank you so much, Raquel. We love you very much, and we look forward to the next
Love
time
to
we
all.
get with you. Take care. Thank you so much.